Welcome back. Zach here. Somebody told me I needed to check out these Purge movies, so I took the time to watch them. They are very dark and disturbing films. The latest one is called The Purge Election Year, and they've written articles about how it is truly intertwined with this year's presidential campaign. And we'll talk about the predictive programming in this film with the upcoming presidential election in the U.S. between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. The latest film, which is called The Purge Election Year, it begins with Parliament, the band, the funk group George Clinton, their song, Give Up the Funk. And we're going to talk about how that song by Parliament and George Clinton is just one of many layers of predictive programming for a Hillary Clinton presidency in the near future. So, The Purge Election Year. This film released July 1st, 2016, a very curious date in light of what the film's about. If you're new to my channel, I am exposing how the powers that be, who are Freemasons and Zionist Jews who control Hollywood, who control media, who control government, how they operate, how they structure news propaganda, how they release their films. In the Jewish faith, there's something called Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism that's involved in numbers. In Kabbalah, it has a lot to do with numerology as well as gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. By learning this language, you can learn so much. The film, The Purge Election Year in gematria, sums to 106, just like the word prophecy. The Zionist state of Israel, Zionist Jews, was recognized by a 33-member vote November 29th, 1947 by the United Nations, giving birth to the nation. November 29th, 1947 was a date with 106 numerology. To the Zionists, they call that a date of prophecy. And again, prophecy equals 106. We're going to talk about prophecy in regards to this upcoming election and how that number favors Hillary Clinton, the Democratic nominee. In gematria, the purge sums to 46, just like sacrifice. Donald Trump, born in 46. We'll talk about Donald Trump and sacrifice in just a moment. First, I want to look at this release date, July 1st, 2016. That is a date with numerology of 44. Kill in gematria sums to 44 and the small way 17. Think about the date July 1st, written 1/7 in most parts of the world. July 1st, a date with 44 numerology on the release. The kill numbers. We'll watch the trailers for this film, two of them, the two main trailers they released for it. We'll see these badges I purged that people wore. Right now, the 44th person or 44th president of the United States is Barack Obama. The people running to be president, Hillary and Donald Trump, are trying to become the 44th person to be president. Barack Obama is number 44, but he's only the 43rd person. Throughout history, 44 has been a fateful number for the presidency in the United States and elsewhere. A lot of assassinations around those numbers. In the film, the murder dates are March 21st and March 22nd. What the movie's about is in the year 2017, supposedly a new political power takes place in the United States. They call themselves the New Founding Fathers. This movie series came out in 2013. The original story was set in 2022, 5 years after the purge began, which started in 2017. Next year, the new president will take office in 2017. The new law is that from 7 p.m. March 21st until 7 a.m. March 22nd, all murder is legal, and there's no emergency services available, including police, hospitals, ambulance. It's just a free-for-all, and you better protect yourself or you might die. The political narrative in the film is how the purge unfairly targets the poor who can't protect themselves. And each year, the largest loss of life is in poor communities, minority communities. So this is the political narrative in the film. The original Freemason is said to be Nimrod from the Bible, name gematria of 213. March 21st can be written 21/3. This number has a lot to do with political assassinations throughout the year. I'll point out that February 13th, also written 2/13, is the 44th day of the year. But this number 213 very much connected to killing in real life. See my work on the deaths of many black young men, politicians such as Richard Nixon and more. 213, part of the code. As for it ending on March 22nd, that date can be written 22/3, Masonic equals 223, the Synagogue of Satan equals 223. In Revelation, the final book of the Bible, it says the false Jews will rule in the end times. They are called the Synagogue of Satan. 223, a very important number to this nation's history, the Star-Spangled Banner, our national anthem. There's a reason they chose the dates March 21st for this film. The same people who create the movies are the same gang that creates our news, that runs our government. Movies are used as a massive distraction and to pacify us, also to culturally program us. So many people aspiring to be like what they see on the screens, movies, TV. So here's a headline, a story written just before The Purge released. The Purge 3 was inspired by Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, and there were multiple articles written like this. The main actor from the second film and the third, Frank Grillo, gives an interview about how they intertwine the political narrative of what's going on in real life into the film. What I want you to notice is that the woman, Elizabeth Mitchell, who plays the character, the female president that ends up getting elected president at the end of the film over the male, what the narrative is the woman opposes the purge. She's running on shutting down the purge. The man who is running for president, he wants to uphold the purge. But anyhow, the woman wins in the end. It's interesting that it's an Elizabeth that plays the character. Her character name is Senator Charlie Roan before she becomes president. Gematria of 88, just like Trump, just like Elizabeth. If you didn't see my work on Donald Trump coming out to Queen at the GOP convention, he did that exactly 88 days after the Queen's birthday. It's Queen Elizabeth. At the Democratic National Convention, they had Elizabeth Banks mock his Queen introduction. Again, at the beginning of the third film, it opens with the song Parliament, Give Up the Funk. George Clinton, the most famous member of that group. Parliament has gematria 46 like The Purge. The song Give Up the Funk has gematria of 66 like Woman. Donald Trump's born on Flag Day, June 14th in the year 46, a date with 66 numerology. Last year I showed how there was a boxing match. A Donald got knocked out on October 26th, Hillary Clinton's birthday, the day that leaves 66 days left in the year. I might actually have the date of that fight memorized miscorrectly, but go back and watch my work on the UFC fight and Donald getting knocked out by the numbers. I know what it was. It was the same night there was a debate where Hillary Clinton was on the stage taking all these shots at Donald Trump. And then meanwhile, Donald was getting knocked out in the UFC ring by a fighter who had the same birthday as Hillary Clinton. That's what it was. But there's all sorts of predictive programming. Rigged sports tie into this, scripted movies, TV shows. There's so much predictive programming for what the powers that be are doing. They are mocking us on a very grand scale, and we the people largely are not seeing it. George Clinton in gematria also has the same gematria as Hillary Rodham, Hillary's maiden name. And I mean, just think about it. The Purge, election year, it has this prophecy coding. It opens up with George Clinton singing, Give Up the Funk. With regards to this prophecy coding and the Democratic Party, the Democratic Convention began exactly 106 days before Election Day. And all throughout the convention, the speakers they had were coded with the numbers 106. I did a long video, over an hour long, showing this. How many people got up with the 106 coding on them, the number of prophecy? The man who got the most attention is Kaiser Khan, surely a con man. Kaiser Khan in gematria sums to 106. He was introduced to the U.S. media March 22nd, 22/3, Masonic, in the year 2005. This character, this contrived character, he's been in the media. It goes to show how long the powers that be have their agenda laid out for. You know, they've had this planned out since 2005 at least, introducing this character by the numbers, all for Hillary's planned presidency. Where the Democratic convention was, Philadelphia, again, that's the city name from the book of Revelation, Revelation, the book of prophecy. The convention began 106 days before voting day. Think about it. And again, the movie, the Purge election year, gematria of 106. Where do we got that at? The Purge election year, 106, just like the Democratic convention beginning 106 days before election day. When that man, Kaiser Khan, the true con man, was speaking, he said Donald Trump's never made any sacrifices. And then Donald Trump responded on July 30th, 2016, 2 days later, a date with numerology of 73 and 46, sacrifice the big way, 73, the small way, 46. Donald Trump saying he's made a lot of sacrifices. If anything happens to Donald Trump before the election in terms of a political assassination, just know it was scripted, it was planned, it was foretold, it was clued in things such as the Purge election year. To show you just how well thought out this might have all really been, this entire movie series, it's very possible that the whole movie series was made partly in foreshadowing the Hillary Clinton presidency. The first film released June 7th, 2013, a date with 46 numerology. And again, the Purge equals 46. The director, James DeMonico, in Gematria 46. As I routinely show, you learn this language of Gematria, you apply it to the director names, the writers, you see how they often sync up with the name of the film. This is par for the course. With regards to June 7th, Freemasonry equals 67. Blood sacrifice equals 67. This is a day of ritual sacrifice, legalized killing. And when you watch the movie, you see how the politicians talk. You know, it gets rid of the poorest, the people who can't support themselves anyway, the people who are the crime threat. You know, instead of reaching out to help those people, the solution in the future is just murder them. Satanic in Gematria sums to 67. The English language, think about this. The English language was created around the same time the United States of America was being established. And it was created in the UK. It became the language of the new nation in the United States of America. The word west equals 67. Water equals 67. Think, from where they were looking out west, it was the Atlantic Ocean. And across the ocean to the west was the new land. Satanic 67, West 67, Water 67. The number also connects to women. Female in Jewish Gematria equals 67. International Women's Day is March 8th, the 67th day of the year. Time magazine did an article about Hillary being 67 when she first announced, saying she was the perfect age as a woman to run for president. This whole movie series might have been about projecting the first female president. What happens at the end of the Purge election year? A woman coming to save the nation from the Purge. The release of the second film was July 18th. 18/7, 187 is the homicide code. That was a date with 59 numerology. Kill in Jewish Gematria equals 59. It was a date with a life lesson number of 32. America equals 32. 7/4/1776, a date with 32 numerology, special number to the nation. Also a date with 39 numerology, number of books in the Old Testament that the Zionists go by, the new founding fathers, no doubt a tribute to the New World Order, which are a Masonic Zionist entity. The third film would release July 1st, 2016, a date with 44 numerology. Kill equals 44 in simple English. Both movies came out in July in the time of Cancer. Cancer equals 44. Chemo equals 44. Kill equals 44. Mastectomy equals 44. Again, we talked about how it was also a date with the 17 connection, kill the small way. Date with 24 numerology, Satanism equals 24. There's that Gematria on kill connected to the release dates of the first, second, and third film. The very first film runs 85 minutes. 85's interesting. Hillary equals 85, Matrix equals 85, Freemasonry equals 58, the reflection. If you write out 125, it has gematria summing to 223 like Masonic, kind of like 125 for an hour 25. The next film ran an hour and 44 minutes. 144 is a number very much connected to killing. Killer in Jewish gematria equals 144, a number coded all over political assassinations. You know, all of these movies tell a narrative about mainstream society. The first film, this one, is focused on, you know, just problems between neighbors in our society, about keeping up with the Joneses, material greed, jealousy, wanting to kill your neighbors over their material wealth. These are themes in the first film, as well as class and racism. They mix in the white versus black narrative, poor versus rich. In the second film, they focus on how the government has now hired these killing teams to go to the poorest neighborhoods and unleash even more carnage. The government is sponsoring the murder of the poor in the second film, which comes to light. The Purge Anarchy has gematria of 170, like World War III. Also a lot like 17, 170 is. Mason 17, Kill 17. The Purge Anarchy, the small way sums to 80. Tragedy equals 80. This is a national holiday that's truly a tragedy. And March 21st, the date it happens, is also the 80th day of the year. The Purge Anarchy 80, it takes place on the 80th day of the year, a government-sponsored day of murder and tragedy. With regards to that hour 44, here's all the 144 connections. When you write out 44, it sums to 144. Remember, kill equals 140. Kill equals 44. When you write out April 4th, it sums to 144. First president to die in office, William Henry Harrison, died on April 4th, just like Martin Luther King Jr. JFK, the 44th term president, died on the first day of Sagittarius. Sagittarius, 144. Lincoln shot on April 14th, 14/4. He dreamed on April 4th that he'd be shot. 10 days later, he was shot. 10 days later equals 144. Robert Kennedy died at 1:44 in the morning. Tim Russert, who questioned both John Kerry and George W. Bush about being in 322 Skull and Bones, ended up dying at 2:23 by the numbers. He was first taken to the hospital at 1:44 supposedly. And again, here's the third film. We talked about the coding of prophecy, what it has to do with the Democratic Party, Hillary. From the very first film to the release of the second film was 406 days, a lot like 46. Just dropped the zero. Remember the Purge 46? Nice spacing between the first and second film. Also 58 weeks. Remember the first film's 85 minutes. Freemasonry 58. If you watch these Purge films, notice that at the beginning of each film it shows surveillance of people being murdered all over. You know, it'll say like Scottsdale, Arizona, and then show people getting shot, and then it goes to a different part, Minnesota, whatever. Shows all these people getting murdered as if it's on the news and it's legitimized coverage. Notice the numbers and the times as it goes through each scene. All of them are coded with the numbers we're talking about. First film starts with 62 minutes before the Purge. Mason equals 62. March 3rd, 3/3 is the 62nd day of the year. All of these numbers have significance that they code before our eyes. From the second film to the final film was 102 weeks. United States of America has gematria of 102. Key of David has gematria of 102, which is about bringing about prophecy, which is written about in regards to the church of Philadelphia in the book of Revelation, the book of prophecy. We're talking about the parallels between election year, what's going on with the Democrats and the Republicans, the Democratic Convention in Philadelphia. From the first film until the release of the last film, beginning to end, 1,120 days. 112, the alt dialing code for 911. You know, this is a movie about mass tragedy, mass emergency, but nothing you can do about it. No available services. Beginning of the first film, this is how it begins. America, 2022. Unemployment is at 1%. Crime is at an all-time low. Violence barely exists with one exception. Blessed be the new founding fathers for letting us purge and cleanse our souls. Blessed be America, a nation reborn. And that's the thing in the movie, you know. You get all these people going before the news talking about how great the purge is for society. But you also get the political narrative showing how, well, who's it really good for? It's good for the rich. It's good for insurance companies. It's good for the military-industrial complex. And it's terrible for the poor. And, you know, most things that are done by our government in this nation, they're not as drastic as the purge, but they have those outcomes. Good for the rich, bad for the poor. 2 weeks after this film released, you might have heard about the Day of Rage being hosted in the United States. Day of Rage had that gematria 46 like the Purge. They did it on July 15th, a date written 15/7 like United States. There ended up being the coup in Turkey, the U.S. ally, and then they blamed it on the United States the next day and contrived story by the numbers. See my work on the coup. All that was coded in. Something might happen on the next Day of Rage next year, July 15th, here in the United States. We'll see. Could be predictive programming. What I notice about this, the Purge election year, their official trailer, is here in the timestamp, it shows 2 minutes and 28 seconds. All year I've been talking about the date 22/8, August 22nd. United States of America equals 228, death equals 228. There's been other political assassinations in the history on this date. If we click on it, it will go to 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Remember, 22 divided by 7 gives us our number for pi. Everything is cut by this gang to certain lengths for a reason. You know, this number connects to the United States of America and death, which is what this movie is about. Let's watch this trailer, and then we'll also watch the second trailer. Pay attention to what's put before your eyes.
Played a lot of Purge games this evening. We have just one more. It's called Mommy's Choice. Which one of you will survive this year's Purge?
The soul of our country is at stake. The Purge targets the poor and the innocent.
The senator's going to win. She's going to make real changes, too.
It is a night that is defining our country.
It's time to do something about that, Senator.
The Purge has to come to an end.
You take a lot of risks, Senator.
I have to. I was the only one in my family to survive. What made you apply for this position?
I almost did something on Purge night some years back. I want this night gone. I want men in all these rooms. We got eyes and ears on everything. All right, let's begin.
This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual Purge. At the siren, all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 hours. Your government thanks you for your participation.
Someone betrayed us. This is not a drill. We are on our own. We have one goal right now. Survival. Senator, come with us. You gentlemen understand what's at stake here. It is our duty to help protect her. Here they come. Hold on! Blessed be America for letting us purge and cleanse our souls. Join me as we eliminate evil. Purge and cure. Purge and cure.
Just remember all the good the Purge does.
So, there was trailer number 1. We're also going to watch trailer number 2. Notice 232 is on the trailer. If we click on it, it'll go to 231. I want to show you something interesting about both of those numbers in light of what we've been talking about. We talked about the connection between satanic and blood sacrifice. Satan in Jewish gematria also sums to 232, kind of like that 232 timestamp. Also, when we click on it, it's going to go to 231. I just want you to see that the name Hillary Rodham Clinton sums to 231. And in this commercial, or this preview, it's more, well, you'll just see exactly the point. I don't even need to explain it. Let's just watch.
Warning, announcing the commencement of the annual purge.
This July, have your voice be heard.
I purged.
I purge. Show your support
I purged because it's my civic duty.
for the purge.
I purge because staying in is un-American.
This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual purge.
The soul of our country is at stake.
The senator's going to win. She's going to make real changes.
The purge has to come to an end.
At the siren, all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 hours.
Senator, let's begin lockdown.
All emergency services will be suspended. Your government thanks you for your participation.
We're going to use this year's purge to do something about that senator. We're being hunted. Go, go, go. We are on our own.
My God. How did it get to this?
What you doing outside on purge night, Senator? Come with us. There are threats everywhere. There's death everywhere. Y'all need to see this. We have one goal: survival. Purge and kill. Purge and kill. Purge and kill. Here they come. Run. I purged to keep my country great.
I purge to keep my country great. That's a lot like Donald Trump's Keep America or Make America Great Again. So we see why the Hillary Rodham 231 and the trailer being 231 is significant. The commercial starts with a political ad, very much like a presidential ad, and then the entire preview is centered around the female senator, which Hillary Clinton used to be. And there's one important 67 I forgot to mention. The word purge itself has gematria of 67. Of course, the first one came out on June 7th, 6/7. Female in Jewish gematria 67. The entire film has had a political narrative. It's supposed to begin in 2017, the year that either Hillary or Trump will become president. Everything I'm looking at, everything that's being coded, it's all in the favor of Hillary, from news stories to movies to what's in TV. I don't know how anyone can be denying this work at this point, you know? We'll see what happens when November rolls around. Until next time, Truth Seekers.